Hey, Bobby Manning here, Noah Dalzell alongside, and the Celtics just beat the Grizzlies convincingly in their first Summer League game here in Las Vegas. We're outside Thomas & Mack Arena, reacting to Hugo Gonzalez's debut, which is what we were both most excited for. We both agreed on that, and I think we saw him everything that the scouting report said about him within the first few minutes even.
I think he exactly met expectations, and they were high. Like, I expected to see a well-rounded player that plays really hard and shows that he can potentially defend at a high level, and he was all those things. But I didn't think he was going to go for 30, and he didn't. He had 12 on 4 of 12 shooting. So to me, this was like exactly what I expected from him based on what we'd heard, based on the limited film that was available in his debut game.
Yeah, and the threes fell, which can go both ways. I'm sure it will throughout this summer league for him, but that could be a swing skill for him, and that's mostly the role we saw him play in this game, was spotting up, screening a little bit, popping out to the perimeter and catching and shooting some threes. So he got the opportunities to get those off. He said that was his goal coming into the summer league, so that was a big part of his debut here, but also some point guard play, and that's what Matt Reynolds said they wanted, was to put him in different positions, because honestly, I don't even think they know fully what his role is going to be with this team yet, whether it's this year or even long term, because he's so early in his development, particularly on the offensive side. But the defense flashed. I love the block he had helping out. I love the energy he showed. He was getting screened a ton, and he had to navigate that. And I think, aside from a few turnovers here, this was a pretty clean and disciplined game from him. He looked comfortable out there, even though he said later it was hard and it was fast.
Yeah, and again, 19 years old. Like, that, we're going to keep coming back to that because there are other guys in the roster that have been there a lot longer, and they're still a lot older than him, and he's 19, and I think I expected a 19-year-old to look a little bit more frazzled, to be a little bit more sped up, but he really wasn't, and I think it points back to the one thing that we know about him, and that's that he's been on a professional basketball team now, and he called that his pre-rookie season. He's played with 9 former NBA players on his most recent year, and all of that has been apparent both in his game and then also just the way he interacts with the media, the way he kind of discussed going 1 for 5 from the free throw line. He was so stern, like he was like, that's not acceptable. Like, I can't allow that. I won't allow that. And so there's a lot to like about him, and I think, nothing that I'm going to overreact to and say, like, based on what we saw today, this is how he's going to perform as an NBA player. But certainly the flashes of things that you had heard about, you saw a little bit in action.
Here's Gonzalez talking about his debut today.
I mean, it was hard to catch up with the pace and everything. When I was in Europe, game is a lot of times a little bit slower. We're trying to have that possession until the end. Here, if you got a shot, you better take it. So that's actually making the game really up and down, and you gotta catch up with that if you want to play. So I'm just trying to adapt. I'm just trying to adapt as soon as I can. So as I said before, contribute to the team.
So we discussed this with Kevin O'Connor in the podcast we did out here leading up to the weekend. The breakthrough player, who's going to actually impact the Boston Celtics from the Summer League team. And the fun thing is, 3 of the guys who are headliners on the roster between Gonzalez, Baylor Shireman, and Jordan Walsh play that position that Jason Tatum's going to vacate for most of the season, if not all of it. So there's room for one of those guys, maybe even multiple of those guys, to play NBA minutes this year. Now, who's actually going to emerge out of that group? I know Kevin likes Shireman. Shireman's probably shown the most out of those 3 players so far, but he struggled the most here today, shooting, finding his spots on the floor. Gonzalez looked like he fit in pretty well, complimentary, but he's the youngest of them. And then Walsh looked amazing. I loved his game here today and his approach, but this is 3 years in for him now, and he still hasn't cracked that rotation. So I think even after some results in this first game and some NBA games for both Walsh and Shireman, we have no idea which of the 3 is most likely going to break through here. Do you have a direction you're leaning after this one?
No, and I wouldn't change my direction based off of one Summer League game because we're going to have a couple more of these. Yeah, I think Shireman, like, as far as who's most ready to impact the team right now, first of all, just his age. He's 24 now, so he has 5 years on Gonzalez.
He's the best shooter.
3 years on Walsh,
track-record-wise.
and he's the only one of the 3 that I've seen perform well at the NBA level. Jordan has been very limited minutes, and again, Gonzalez has yet to suit up, so it's no fault of his own. No fault of his, but like certainly harder to picture because we just don't know what that's going to look like. I will say he was going up against Jalen Wells for most of this game, who was one of the best rookies in the class last year. So that was a nice thing that you actually got to see him competing against a real NBA player. But I don't really have a strong inclination for it's like, this is the guy I'm going to hedge my bets on. It's kind of what makes this fun. With each game, we're getting a little bit more data on who might separate themselves from the pack. I'd probably still pick Baylor just because of his experience, but there were definitely moments today where I was like, I'm seeing Hugo do things that I haven't seen the other two do on the defensive end.
And that's the exciting part of this team is these guys could impact the NBA roster this year. And we're focused on the wings, but centers in this game too. Amari Williams played a solid game in his debut. Charles Bassey appeared out of nowhere and had the best game of anyone in this one. So we'll hear more from the centers tomorrow, but what was your impression of those guys?
Yeah, Bassey was awesome. I mean, we didn't even know he was on the roster because he's not listed on the official roster. So all of a sudden he's warming up, and next thing you know, he's outplaying everybody. So
we should have noticed he was at that other practice. I'm beating
no, I mean we noticed
that.
there was a couple of people I didn't recognize. I think he was the only one that was a player. But yeah, he was there today. He impacted things on both ends, and just talking to some people from the Spurs organization, they really liked him last year. He stepped up when Wemby went down. The question with him, I think the big one is health and whether he can stay available. He's already dealt with a bunch of different knee injuries, and he's 24, 25 years old. So that's the big question. I don't know if the Celtics view him as somebody that they're just kind of giving an opportunity to showcase his talent, or if they see a pathway forward for him. We'll probably get a little more clarity on that in the next few days.
Yeah, Matt Reynolds didn't have any indication there yet, but a pleasant surprise in this first Summer League game here. We are back with a practice tomorrow, so we'll have updates from that, and then back-to-back games on Sunday and Monday before I'm out of here. But still a lot more to come here from Vegas. For Noah Dalzell, I'm Bobby Manning, and the Celtics beat the Grizzlies to open up their Summer League slate here at Thomas and Mack Center. We'll talk to you soon.